story behind my finger.
Yes,
I'll tell you that. So now, he started showing me love. When he comes to school, he takes me to his office and teach me specially. Before you see the next term, the first term, I think the first time I did not do exam, but the second time I came out first in the class. And that was how my life changed again in school. Although I was still going through torture at home, but I was always looking forward to go to school. I was never late to that school. Sometimes I even get there at 6:30 as soon as they finish morning devotion. Yes, that's how religious my house was. And I was dying. We were having constant morning devotion. So now, shall I go back? Let me go back to this finger, about this finger. I think I was like 6 years old. My father just died the previous year. And my mother, she started doing this pap, where we grind corn and we turn it to pap, and we go sell it for breakfast. So that was it. This day, me and my brother, Don, we went to grind this corn. My brother was not supposed to turn the machine on. It was the operator who was meant to turn the machine on. So the operator was insisting on a price. Don said, oh, it's not that difficult. You just turn it on like this. And my hand was on the belt because I didn't know the machine would be turned on. So the belt just swinged my finger to the engine, to the machine at the other side, the wheel. And I got an accident here, but the hand did not cut off totally. Now my brother took me and we ran to the chemist. We got there. There was a nurse there, so the nurse said it's fine. There's still life in the hands, because it was just like 5 minutes race we had. So they stitched the hand neatly. They told me to come back in 7 days so they could take off the stitches. So I got home that day. My mother came back from the market and my mother was crying. Said, oh God, if my husband had not died, you know, she's still mourning. Her husband just died the previous year. If my husband had not died, I would not have started this Akamo business that would have led to my son's
hand cutting off.
So this man just came out of his room and met my mom.
That's the same man that accused you of witchcraft?
Yes, of witchcraft. His name is Chochi. He just came out of the room and he said, don't cry, don't cry. If I tell you the real story behind this hand, my mom was looking at him. And he said, the previous night, devil had asked me to come take my mom for sacrifice. But when I got to the room, I asked my mom, you know you always pray. My mother said, yes, I always pray. So he prayed on that. He said, so when he got there, he saw Holy Ghost fire surrounding you. He couldn't penetrate. So when he went back to Coven the next day, the devil said, no, I'm not having this without you bringing your mother, so you have to sacrifice your own blood. Your blood has to go on the earth. And they cut the hand in the Coven. So I came to earth. It has to be cut physically for devil to be fulfilled. But that was why this thing happened. If you see how my mother looked at me, he looked at me like, I'm so disappointed. And don't forget, I'm only 7. So she stood up and she went to her room. And I heard her singing and praising God. And prayed. And she went to sleep while I was still in the living room. Now this man took me with his bandaged hand, took me to the bush and flogged this hand with this bandage. The bandage was on it. He flogged it that the hand started bleeding. The bandage was like soiled. And in the morning, I didn't want anyone to see that mess. So I stole my mother's money. I went to buy bandage from a chemist. And I wrapped the hand by myself, to cover all of the soiled bandage so people don't start asking me what happened. Because I can't tell them. They've told me at home, if anyone ever hear this story outside, I'll be killed. So I took this. I took the hand. Okay, now the hand was being, I think it was infected. It was painful. But don't forget, I could not express the pain because I'll be killed at home. Because they feel it's self-inflicted.
Yes.
I was going through this pain. Only that, I was also afraid that I would be judged outside as well. So the hate would be like it will. So there was no help coming from anywhere. Now, this hand now, I went back to the chemist 7 days after, acting as if everything was alright. But I know it's not. As soon as I got there, the owner of the pharmacy was there. His name is Dr. Ikpasa. I've not told him this story, but I know when I come back to Abraka the next time, I'm going to find him and tell him this part of the story. Now, Dr. Ikpasa, as soon as he saw the load of bandage on the hand, you can imagine what a child wrapped. He screamed, "Who dressed this hand like this?" One of the nurses now said, "It's not me," and called the nurse who did the actual dressing. Dr. Ikpasa said, "Just go tell her that she's suspended." As soon as Dr. Ikpasa said that, I broke down. I cried. Oh my God, I'm having that feeling again. I felt like I've killed someone. You know, the woman was innocent, but at the same time, I couldn't defend her. Because if I said she's not the one, then they'll ask me what happened. I felt so horrible. Can you imagine at the age of 7? It was like nerve-wracking. I cried. I laid on the floor. And Dr. Ikpasa felt, he actually thought I was crying because it was the hand was painful. He didn't know it was emotional stress at the age of 7. So actually they took me to take off the bandage, and Dr. Ikpasa found out that the hand was infected and the top bit was rotten. So I saw Dr. Ikpasa, I saw his face. He was just thinking, how am I going to tell this child's mother? In his mind, the clinic has failed the woman and the child, her child. So Dr. Ikpasa just dressed the hand again, not like proper, because he knows he's gone, and told me to just go back home. So I went to meet my mom in the shop. I was seated outside. To forget, this time I don't get too close to my mom. I'm always like far away. I could just be seated afar. And Dr. Ikpasa got there. You know, I feel so sorry for my mom. Why I feel sorry for her is because I imagine the pain she went through, thinking her son was something. Now, Dr. Ikpasa met my mom and told my mom the situation. And my mom said, then cut it off. Yeah, she was able to say then cut it off because the man has convinced him that this thing has already been done.
In the spiritual. There's no need wasting our time.
Yes. Dr. Ikpasa was, I don't know, you know, like when you feel like, oh, so I didn't get into trouble.
Yeah. He felt relieved.
Yes. But obviously that's because Dr. Ikpasa does not know the true story. But now, they took me back and they chopped off the hands. This is why I tell you, I don't think it was an easy decision for her. This is why I really feel so sorry for her. That was why I made sure I took good care of her before she passed. You might think it's not happening,
But it's still happening.
It's happening because my house was a role model in my community. I'm very sure so many people, when they see this now, they will be shocked. My house.
Because you were deaconess's son. My mother was a deaconess.
Not just a deaconess in any Pentecostal church, in a Baptist church. My mother was like one of the first deaconess in Delta State.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say here, it happens in whole. This thing is crippling mind. Children are turning something else. You check our social media today, you see children just looking for validation.
Yeah.
That is because the foundation is being crushed. So this is why my initiative has come, our initiative has come to help and rescue children who are going such
through this.